Bonjour, je suis Monsieur Dupont.
In the last episode, we sailed from Bora Bora to Maupiti. The conditions were very calm and the pass into Maupiti was extremely quiet because the wind was from a northwesterly direction. Maupiti is a beautiful island. We love the atmosphere there. I think Maupiti and Huaine are my two favorite islands on the Society Islands.
Today is our first try to get out of the pass. A local guy told us that today might be the only day. The pass is right there between the two motors.
So then finally we found the right day to leave Maupiti and continue our trip to Western Samoa. It will break our trip from the Society Islands to Fiji in two. So we will have one crossing of 1,200 miles and then after that a smaller crossing of between 500 and 600 miles. During the Monday that we chose to go out, I think the situation was perfect. The wind turned a little bit to the east. The waves were not coming in straight. The current was a little bit less. And even though the waves were between 2 and 2.5 meters on the forecast, going out was pretty simple.
He and Endless are already outside. So now it's our turn. Mark has the drone in the air. So it looks very comfortable. Steering a bit up now.
Bonjour, je suis Monsieur Dupont.
Well, somehow we got this plotter working again, but the connection to the screen in the saloon, it's not working yet. Trying to stay a little bit close to the other boats, so they tossed one reef. We're basically having wind where we don't need a reef. We have two reefs in the main, and we have the Code Zero and the Soland available on the front, so we can adjust our speed to match the speed of the other boats a little bit. First day at sea, Marijke is always a little bit nauseous. I'm sure it's going to be okay after today.
Unfortunately, I was not going to be okay the next day because I got a migraine, and most of the time it takes 3 days to recover from that. So that's... Then there's only 2 days left to enjoy the passage.
Two reefs in the main now and the Soland. We just did that, or mainly did that, to reduce our speed a bit so we could stick together.
In the beginning it is easy to stay together with the boats. It is very difficult to try and do that for the whole trip because you constantly have to adapt to the circumstances that you're in. We try to sail very conservative, but if you have too little sail for the wind and the choppy seas, then it's very uncomfortable on the boat. When you're not pushing the boat constantly with 1 or 2 reefs in the main and the Soland, it is maybe even boring on the passage. So he's going to play with his 360 camera for a while, and I think the images are really nice.
So we tossed one reef this morning at 9, but then part that is used to be able to put the carts on the main mast track broke in two, or almost in two. We put a bit of two-component glue on, epoxy glue, but it's not going to help a lot. And on the inside, we're going to try to put some epoxy putty. Can't be on the outside because then the cars won't be able to pass anymore. But this configuration is okay until 28 knots apparent. Well, we're never gonna get there. We could even sail with the full main now. If we didn't have this little problem with the bridge. It looks like this one is just passing us. Everything's still okay here. We made a provisionary repair with the epoxy off of the bridge of the mainsail track, but I don't think it's gonna hold. Maybe if there's no pressure it will guide the cars down when we get the sail down. Marika is still ill, so well, I can't say it's a solo sail this time because she does her watches. But it's kind of specking an endless joy style. Sleeping with the alarm set at 20 minutes. I have to say we haven't seen another boat in 1,000 miles. We're gonna miss that one too, I guess. Gonna pass us on the other side normally. We just heard that Takaroa ripped their mainsail on a strange spot. About there. Just underneath the second batten. And Endless wrapped her A4, the smaller asymmetrical spinnaker, around the forestay and damaged it. Sock won't come down anymore, so they're leaving it up there.
difference with other crossings we did until now is that we pass a lot of islands on our 1200-mile trip. So in an emergency, there's always a moment where you can stop. It feels a little bit safe, even when you don't use it.
Well, these guys kept us awake as the wind was turning, first to 130 and then back to 90. So there was a first call at 10:30 and the winds went up to 30 knots. Would have been too much for the Jenica, so we rolled it in. Now it's my shift, Marijke just went to bed. We'll just go slow the rest of the night and try again tomorrow morning. Current ETA is in the morning of their Monday because we are crossing the date line. That's Tau Island, one of the main islands of American Samoa. We're just behind Fou de Basson. Yeah, 15 on average. Ja.
En te zien of daar iets op is. Stoten met deze koers.
Ja.
When we are close to American Samoa, we catch up with Fou de Basson, also one of the boats of our fleet. And they are sailing 180 degrees wind angle. And we are constantly jibing and we have to watch out for them several times. So when we arrive at Samoa, we take our time to take down the sail because we have no idea if Mark will be able to manage to get the cars from one rail to the other.
We're going to try to put this back. We kind of repaired it, but you see it's still crooked.
Hope it doesn't break. I'm going to try and film and lower the sheet at the same time. So it will be a little bit bumpy. But it works, so no worries.
Turtle?
The entrance in Samoa is very well marked with buoys. It's also wide and very easy to go in between the reefs.
Oh ja, wij zijn verder nog geen andere boten geweest. We zijn net open, hè?
We are actually the second boat that goes into Samoa in 3 years' time. So when the customs comes on board and the health and the whole charade, it is really funny. We are going to rest in Samoa for a while and do some sightseeing on land.
Inky just arrived.
Swirling around there.
Endless joy.
Kind of dangerous. But he has a second one which kept
On the other side,
right.
there's a Samoa. We just all arrived in Samoa. We just all arrived in Samoa, and the others are not allowed to go off the boat. We are already checked in, so we are going to have dinner tonight with Food de Bassin.